The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Divemaster Fyzal Kurban laid to rest in boat-shaped casket. Standing next to his boat-shaped casket, the family of lead diver Fyzal Kurban gave a crisp salute to the man who sacrificed his life to keep his crew breathing while inside a 30-inch diameter pipeline. In true captain-style, Kurban pushed lone survivor Christopher Boodram through the hole they had been pulled into 2 Fridays ago. Boodram, who was rescued 3 hours later, told his relatives that it was Kurban who shared his oxygen tank with them and helped him to safety, and that sacrifice, his family said, will help them through the rest of their lives. Kurban was cremated at the Shore of Peace cremation site yesterday, following a Christian funeral service at the Pleasance Park Pointe-a-Pierre home. In eulogizing her father, Brittany Kurban said he was always connected to the sea, from building boats with his father to becoming a certified commercial diver. Kurban's father, Ramjan Kurban, met his demise in an explosion while working on an offshore barge 37 years ago. Brittany said, "My dad has been to all corners of Trinidad and throughout the Caribbean. There will never be another person like him. He was impressive, a brilliant mind and his strength. There was nothing he could not do." He was a hero to his sons Nicholas and Michael, who followed in their father's footsteps, becoming divers. He was the captain on board the ship, and he lived up to his end as a captain. He was my hero, my idol. He was my everything, yes, Michael Kurban said. Kurban's wife, Celicia, wiped away tears as relatives recalled her love story with her husband. The love they shared as a family is an example for each person who is married today, a relative said. The funeral service was attended by Kurban's family, friends, co-workers, and citizens who were touched by the tragedy that had befallen the men. Kurban, Kazim Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, and Rishi Nagasar. The divers employed with LMS Limited were conducting underwater maintenance at number 36 Sea Line Riser on berth 6 at Paria Fuel Trading Company Limited in the waters of Pointe-a-Pierre when they were sucked into the pipeline. The bodies of Kurban, Ali, and Henry were recovered 4 days later last Monday. Nagasar remains were found last week Thursday. Autopsies found that the men drowned inside the pipeline. Hero grandfather saves granddaughter from falling tree. The heroic efforts of grandfather Oswald Melville resulted in him saving his granddaughter, 1.5-year-old Anastasia Lewis, from death. Melville used his body as a shield to protect Anastasia as a tree came crashing down on his Mount St. George home at around 10 o'clock on Monday night. The tree fell on the family home, injuring 3 people, including Melville, who has since been transferred to Trinidad for medical treatment, while his granddaughter has been released from hospital. The family said some of their appliances were destroyed whilst trying to save what they could. Sharon Phillips, another occupant of the house, said she was in the living room having her evening tea when disaster struck. The tree come falling down, bust down on the road, pin him on the ground with the child, and he throw his whole body and brace the child from getting lash, and he get all the lash, said Phillips. When we tried to run out the door, we could not come out the door because a big log come and blocked the door, so we had to run inside, she added. Family members tried to pull Melville from underneath the tree to no avail as the tree branches were spread over a wide area. Emergency medical services personnel and the fire service were called, and they assisted in the removal of the massive tree. Melville suffered visible head injuries, shoulder and chest pains. Raymond Murray, another occupant, suffered injuries to the head, and Lewis had soft tissue bruising. Area Representative for Mount St. George, Goodwood Megan Morrison, visited the family Monday night to offer assistance. The home is halfway damaged, the roof gone. We are trying to find some shelter for the family. The Seventh-day Adventist Church opened their doors, and Tobago Emergency Management Agency, TEMA, helped with some mattresses, said Morrison. TEMA Director Alan Stewart said the family is being provided with shelter for a 3-day period, while the Tobago House of Assembly Division of Social Services will interview the family and offer some long-term housing accommodation. Coast Guard interceptor crew involved in incident with Grenadian vessel removed from seagoing duties. The Coast Guard interceptor crew involved in the incident with a Grenadian vessel has been removed from seagoing duties until the conclusion of the investigations into the matter. So said National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hinds as he responded to an urgent question from opposition Senator Wade Mark in the Senate yesterday. The crew on the Venezuelan vessel Rainier claimed they were beaten, treated with hostility, and threatened by the Coast Guard members during a routine check last week, Wednesday. Hinds also said the assistance of an independent investigatory body from the Defense Force has been sought to carry out an in-depth investigation. Thus far, this team has contacted the investigators from Grenada so that arrangements can be made to interview the crew members. The team is still awaiting the required information from Grenada regarding those interviews. The local arm of the investigation is continuing. However, preliminary interviews have been conducted with the Coast Guard personnel who were involved. Based on these initial interviews, a second round of questioning is to be undertaken with other personnel who may have pertinent information in relation to this matter, Hinds stated. He added that the Coast Guard was also standing by to assist police service if called upon with their own investigations into this event. Mark asked when were the Grenada investigators contacted, and Hinds said he could not respond with any specificity, but that contact had been made and the Coast Guard is awaiting feedback in that regard. Mark then asked whether Hinds was aware that the captain of the crew had said up to yesterday evening on television that there had been no contact. Hinds said he did not see the report and reiterated that communication was made and feedback was being awaited. Meanwhile, in response to another question, Hinds said the number of serious crimes had declined steadily between 2019 and 2021, based on data received from the TTPS Crime and Problem Analysis Branch, CAPA. The number of serious reported crimes for the period January to November 2019 was 12,306. Between January to November 2020, 9,787. Between January and November 2021, 9,367, he said. Hinds said Mark's assumption that there has been a rise in serious crime was flawed. He said up to Monday, the number of firearms retrieved for this year was 96, and he was sure the number had risen yesterday. The nation can look forward to a very active retrieval program, he said. He added, in response to a question from Mark, that port surveillance, which is one of the loopholes for the entry of illegal firearms, was being increased. He said specific focus was being placed on legal ports and other ports and on border security in general. Nevertheless, the minister noted that crime continues to be a major issue facing the people of T&T, and accordingly, the TTPS continues to strategize and review its anti-crime policies, with the aim of implementing contemporary and proactive strategies to assist in the deterrence and suppression of criminal activities, in an effort to reduce the number of serious reported crimes, including homicides. TTPS strategies to assist in the deterrence and suppression of criminal activities. targeted efforts at the retrieval of firearms and ammunition, and vigorously prosecuting firearm offenders in the courts, focusing on the seizure of illegal drugs as well as conducting financial investigations into the proceeds of these crimes, targeting illegal gambling and the proceeds thereof, as well as money laundering and other financial crimes, targeting homicide suspects and other priority offenders involved in serious crimes such as woundings and shootings. Use of intelligence-led policing geared towards targeting gang members. Use of roving roadblocks and targeted patrols in hotspot areas. Engagement of interagency intelligence and data sharing as well as intelligence-driven exercises in order to aggressively execute arrest warrants and apprehend alleged offenders. Building collaborative relationships with local, regional, and international partners. Continuous training of officers in evidence-based enforcement and prevention strategies in order to enhance the detection and deterrence rates for homicides. Use of technology to engage the public, such as the TTPS app. Headless corpse discovered floating near Toco shoreline. A headless corpse was discovered floating near a Toco shoreline on Monday afternoon. At around 4 p.m., two people fishing at Penzance Beach spotted the corpse in the water. A resident of the area swam out to sea with a length of rope and brought the body ashore more than an hour later. Toco police officers Corporal Tellisford and PC Harinanan responded and observed that the body was that of a man with slim build and light brown in complexion. There was a tattoo on the victim's back, but the officers were unable to ascertain a description due to the lighting conditions. The body was clad in burgundy underwear and a pair of jeans. Crime scene investigators and other officers responded. A district medical officer examined the body and ordered it removed to the Sangre Grande mortuary. Anyone with information can contact Toco Police at 670-8256, Sangre Grande Police at 668-2444, Crime Stoppers at 800-TIPS, or the police at emergency numbers 555-999, or send the information via the TTPS app.